What's up, people? Hotep Jesus. We back. Let me get my Hotep Nation hat on. These are for sale. HotepNation.com. Go to the website, hit shop. Get you some lids, get your crown, get your Hotep Nation crown ASAP. I am your host for the evening, Hotep Jesus. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you're all having a wonderful afternoon. This month, my channel is sponsored by Syscoin. Shout out to Syscoin. This is the best of Ethereum and Bitcoin. I'm especially targeting developers, and as developers, check this out. See if this is something that you're interested in. Come talk to me about it after you've played with it. Tell me what you like about it. Tell me what you don't like about it. But go check out Syscoin. By no means am I giving out financial information. If you'd like to buy Syscoin, that's on you. I'm not endorsing the coin in that way, but the technology itself is rather intriguing. Security of Bitcoin, flexibility of Ethereum. So go check that out. Let me know what you guys think. Shout out to Kyle Bet. Brother Kyle Bet is in the building.
Hotep.
Hotep to the brother. We're going to talk about some real things today. Some real things. I know. I should be grifting off of, I don't know, whatever the trending topic of the day is or the week or something like that. But it's not how I've been moved today. Today I wanted to cover this topic, a topic I've been wanting to cover for some time now. And the time has come. The time has come. Breaking fear, the way of Hotep. So I heard somebody say that fear is false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. And at first, I was like, I disagree. That's not what fear is. Because I view fear as something very, very real. Fear is real. There's no doubt about that. So, fear is like an alert system, a notification. It goes off and it says, hey, here's an important event in our life at this moment. Right? That's what fear is saying. This is a very important event. For whatever reason it may be. It is an important event. It is a fork in your timeline, to say. Now, just because you fork into an alternate timeline does not mean that you can't fork back into a more beneficial timeline, a more fruitful, a more profitable timeline. You can definitely fork back and forth. This is why I tell people, we say, stay on the path, because you won't have to take so many forks. You have a lot of good forks, and you'll keep ascending and going up and getting better and better paths. Great way to start the day, Jim and Hotep. Shout out to Mr. Vigil. Appreciate you. Renee Vogel in the building. What up, Renee? Lauren's in the building. Hotep to the queen. What up, Rob? Rob's here. So, where was I? Kyle Bet, he said, you on fire, bro. Salute. Appreciate the super chat. Something tells me I need to be here. Well, I'm here to talk to you. So, where was I? Hold on a second. Let me just put. Okay. So, forking between the timelines is a rather interesting topic. Where are you are supposed to be? What I always tell people is, if you want to be in alignment, do right things, do God things, act Christ-like. If you do that, you will be on the right path. You have nothing to worry about. But fear, you feel it in your body. Like it manifests in your body, your entire vibration changes. So fear is real. But fear is dichotomous. It's good and it's bad. At one point, I remember I regretted defeating fear. I regretted defeating fear. We were performing, I don't know, one of these shows. Me and Demick, we was all over the place. Some show it was. But I had defeated fear to the point that I didn't care anymore. And it was probably my worst show. Compared to shows where I was really nervous, those shows were my best performance than the ones where I wasn't nervous at all. Those I bombed. And that's when I began to see that, this fear thing is actually just energy, right? Energy can neither be created nor destroyed or something like that, right? Only redirected. So we redirect this energy. But when I think that false evidence appearing real lives more on the bad side of fear. When people say that, they're talking about the bad side of fear, right? So we're going to talk about the good and the bad side of fear today. So yes, on the bad side, false evidence appearing real. But the question is, who is this evidence coming from? Is the evidence coming from fear? Where is it coming from? Tell me in the chat right now where the fear is coming from. I'll give you 5 seconds. If you're at home, you can pause the video. Where is this evidence coming from? So the answer is you. You create these scenarios in your own mind, these negative outcomes out of all the things you do. You create it. You literally create it out of your own mind. You create it. Hold on. Chat says misinformation, media. Shout out to Rose. Insufficiency. Insufficiency. Let's talk about insufficiency. You are never insufficient. You are never insufficient. We live in a limitless world. But insufficiency, momentary insufficiency, because there are moments where you are insufficient. Momentary insufficiency can lead to fear. False evidence appearing real. The negative side of things. So you are the creator of the negative thoughts. So you are working against you. This is why people say the only enemy in the world is yourself. Not only that, you're projecting into the future. You're like creating your future. Because whatever you think is whatever you create. Whatever the most common thoughts are in your mind, that's what you create. It's the life you create. That's why I'm sitting here, and that's why you're sitting there. These are the lives we've created. Whoever that may be, whoever, blah, 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 blah. And that's not a diss. I'm just saying, like, wherever you are right now, that was your creation. That's the most powerful thing somebody can say to you. I just told you the most powerful thing, the most self-empowering thing. That's something that the Bolsheviks won't do. The Bolsheviks won't do that. The Bolsheviks won't do that. The Bolsheviks will tell you that everybody else and everything else is your problem. Everything else leads to your insufficiency. That's what the Bolsheviks will tell you. I'm here to tell you that your sufficiency and insufficiency is you. That's you. That's you, man. So this false evidence appearing real is your own machination. Right? It's your own machination. You created it. Fear didn't create it. Fear alerted you to an event, and you had a choice at when this event, this alert, this notification popped up in your mind, in your body. said, yo, important event. And then how you respond to that can either be false evidence appearing real positively or negatively. So you can craft, okay, here's an important event in my life. Here's how we're going to move. Here's how we're going to move. But I'm going to show you how, like, when I was dealing in startups, doing my marketing thing with startups, I was doing weird shit, like hiding my Twitter presence. Like, I didn't want them seeing my regular account. So I used to create like my own like professional account. Like I had a professional account and that was the one I used, right? But that was like kind of corny and tiring. But I was doing that out of fear so I can get a job. You know how these lefties are, man. They ain't letting no nigga in that's on some Thomas Sowell shit. The Bolsheviks not letting you in. The Bolsheviks not letting you in. So when we look at Starbucks, when we look at 50 Cent, right? These are moments in my life where I felt and I received the fear notification. And the fear notification while I was on the bus with 50 Cent, the fear notification was like, yo, an opportunity is here. Like it literally said opportunity. And I was on the bus, 50 Cent was right in front of me. And I stood up and I said, yo, I'm on the bus with 50 Cent. And his marketing team, after we did the execution, the marketing team was like, yo, here's a shirt, keep doing that. So I was like his hype man on the bus. I kind of like Debo'd I kind of jacked the bus a little bit. You know what I'm saying? That got me that gig. That got me 2 years worth of fucking employment. That was dope. That was a dope experience. Starbucks, it was like, first of all, I wasn't going to leave the house, but Shorty was like, yo, let's go to the mall. And for some reason I said yes, because I never say yes. Then we went to the mall and then I sat down because I was tired of walking around. And the Starbucks was right there. And then the fear hit because I was presented with opportunity because I literally had this idea in my head the moment I saw the story hit. I saw the coffee story hit. I was like, But I was like, I'm not about to get up and go to Starbucks. But because I was there that day, that Saturday, sitting in front of Starbucks, that's when I pulled the Starbucks stunt. Success is made at those fear moments. Those moments where you are confronted with fear, that's what success is made. Massive success, extreme success, exponential success, that stuff that like rapidly propels you. The only question is, are you doing it out of love? Are you doing it out of God? Are you doing it Christ-like? Those things matter. Those things matter. Those things absolutely matter. Selflessly, humbly. You got to have humility. For example, I'll read something to you I wrote the other day. This is from my email newsletter. If you're not subscribed, go to briansharp.co and subscribe. So it says, become superhuman. It says, becoming superhuman requires some things most don't have. Okay, you ready? So what is it that you must have to become superhuman? 2 traits. I'll give you guys another 5 seconds. And you guys can pontificate in the chat. It's live, so I might want to give y'all more than 5 seconds. That's probably unfair because it's live and it's a delay. Reaction PR, what up, bro? All right, you ready? Those 2 things are humility and selflessness. I said this goes beyond the fact that God will bless you, because having those 2 traits, God's going to bless you. As long as you have power, as long as you're moving forward. Anyway, these attributes are required in order to gain a loyal following on the physical plane. They are required to have healthy relationships, but one must be selective. Not everyone deserves the best of you, and they don't deserve the worst of you either. Because sometimes people get that messed up, right? They're like, they show their ass when they dealing with people. And it's just like, well, that don't mean I got to treat them good. And you're right. You don't have to treat somebody good. You don't have to treat somebody bad either. You could not even be in their vicinity. You could evacuate. You could exit. You could vacate the premises. The premise. So, I said, some people deserve the void. That's what I call it. Some people deserve the void. Give them the void. Give them nothingness. Give them nothingness. Nothingness. Send them to the black hole. That is your universe. Send them to the black hole of the universe. People don't even know, what is a black hole? I don't know. Shit go there and just disappears. You never hear from it again. Right? Mentally. But that's another topic for another email. The entities in your orbit have the ability to amplify your frequency. The entities in your orbit have the ability to amplify your frequency. Choose them properly and you will become superhuman. These orbitals will terraform the planet you become in this universe. Who is in your orbit? Whose orbit are you in? Are you helping them? How are they helping you? That's my secret. I surround myself with other superhumans, and therefore I become one. And in turn, as a superhuman, by entering my orbit, I create other superhumans. This resonance reverberates throughout our energy fields and affects others. The domino effect. This is how we change the world. Be humble. Be selfless. Become superhuman. This is what we need. But you need bravery. You need bravery. You need progress. But those moments of fear, you either act, you don't act, or you act negatively. And those moments of fear are when you need to act. You need to act most of the time. You need to act. Eli says awareness. Yes. Yes. Excellent. Excellent. Excellent point. Fear should heighten your awareness. Fear should heighten your awareness. It's an excellent point. Fear should heighten your awareness. In fact, that's what it's trying to do. That's exactly what it's trying to do. And in those moments where, we create these negative situations that could possibly happen. So, for example, you have the silent majority, and the silent majority in political America is silent because they are afraid of being ostracized in some sort of way, whether with friends, co-workers, or family. And that's a valid fear. Absolutely. Alert. How you should be interpreting that is you are in enemy territory. You are in enemy territory. You shouldn't be around these people. If you can't be you around these people, it's only a certain amount of time before they devour your ass and find out who you are. So what you need to do is get away from these people and get towards people that are more your frequency, more your wave. People who think like you and act like you. People who have the same values. Because people who allow free thinking, man, I remember I was reading up on some culture, some ancient culture in Europe somewhere, tribal, very tribal. And they basically said if you try to become smart, the whole clan would turn on you. They didn't want to deal with people that were trying to become intellectual. What are you doing trying to be smart? Where was I going with that? Somebody tell me what I was just saying. Crypto Wendy Yo said facts on facts on facts. What up, Wendy? Me and Wendy gonna be here live Wednesday, 8 p.m. I'm sorry, I'm Long Island. 10 p.m. Eastern time. I believe that's 7 West time. Make sure y'all come check us out. Loving Crypto Podcast. Rob said, sometimes finding your people means going alone for a bit. But it is only when you find yourself that you can be of service and find your tribe. Listen. When you can't be you, how are you supposed to grow? How are you supposed to grow? It's like a seed in it, but it can't be itself. These people are stunting your growth, so therefore they're stunting the growth of humanity, period. It's inhumane. Right? Completely inhumane. So you may have to go at it alone. You may have to lay low for a little while, but you need to do so in hopes of getting away and getting towards a tribe that's going to be more beneficial for you to grow. You need better soil. You need a better environment. Or better tactics, because you can stay where you are and have better tactics. You can be tactical and maneuver in your environment. I will never say you can't do that, because I do that around the enemy a lot. But being who I am, people already know my stance on stuff though. But I guess, people kind of just respect me, so I really don't get like friends and family like wilding out. They just be like, whatever, we disagree. But still, the fact that we are outnumbered should be alarming and should tell you that we have to make a move. A move has to be made. It should tell you right now. Common sense is being, is being challenged. Common sense is being challenged. Imagine that. What up, Trish? Trish in the building. Hotep to the queen.
Hotep.
But I like what Rob said, though. He said, finding your people means going alone for a bit. I'm trying to put my feet in those shoes. Because a lot of people are afraid of being alone. And I think that's a problem with a lot of people, man. That's a problem with a lot of people. I see it especially people with relationships. People go from relationship. It's because they're just afraid of being alone. And I think you have to master being alone in order to master being with others. So if you've never done the alone thing, you should probably try it out. It does wonders for the spirit. It does wonders for the spirit. But yeah, so being the fact that our cohort is not conducive with life, and we mean that literally and figuratively. Not conducive for life. I don't know if this is some kind of death cult that we're dealing with here. I don't know if we're dealing with some kind of death cult or what. That's neither here nor there. Again, people are going to play in the matrix. Characters are going to come in and out of the matrix. They're going to play in the matrix. But it has nothing to do with you. Watching everybody else, how they playing the game and then being mad or upset about it. aka being distracted, it's not going to help you. It's even player hating. You know, you mad because somebody else is doing something in the matrix. I can see when it's malicious, like, you know, people stealing from the community, like Patrice Colors. You know, but yeah. For the most part, you know, you just play hating. You know, you got to congratulate. Congratulate, don't hate. Eli said, what are the 3 values someone must have to be a part of your tribe, Hotep? 3 values. Eli, that's a great question. It's a great question I actually cannot answer. I cannot answer that question. I cannot answer that question mostly for security purposes. And secondly, because it's such a great question. I would need time to think about that. What I can say is refer to the 10 Hotep commandments. Refer to the 10 Hotep commandments. That is a very good guide by which we hold as a standard. I'll show it to you. Let's see here. 10 Hotep commandments. Hold on. I'll be on your screen in just a second here. Yeah, here we go. 10 Hotep commandments. What does it say here? Number 1, I am independent and self-sufficient. See, that right there gets the loony bins out the way right there. All your radical, all your victim mentality is gone from number 1. It's gone. You're no longer a victim because I am independent and I'm self-sufficient. I don't need nobody else. So we get rid of it right there. 2, I am not one for excuses. So we're not making excuses. No matter what happens, we're not making no excuses. So 1 and 2 tie together. 3, I am eating to live and not living to eat. We got to be conscious of our diet. 4, I'm completely and totally present. This is very important. This is very important, especially when you do things like go on Joe Rogan Experience. You have to be completely and totally present. 5, I'm an explorer of my soul. That means you need to be, religious, spiritual, something. You pick something. You know what I mean? You need a little bit of that in your life. You need a little bit. I ain't saying you got to be, a Jesus freak or nothing like that, or you got to go all out. But you need a healthy amount of it. You need a healthy amount of it daily. I'm a speaker of joy and short with my tongue. Yeah, you don't want to be loquacious. And you don't want to be somebody who's always speaking negative on the people or speaking about negative things. Everything's negative. That's the problem with the media right now. Everything's negative, because the media runs off of fear, going back to fear being a topic. Like the media is the one that's creating false evidence appearing real, right? The negative side of fear. And I said short with my tongue because the more you talk, the more stupid you sound. And I think that being pithy is more effective than being long-winded. Getting out what you got to say in a finite amount of time or words seems way more effective to me. 7, I'm a speaker of truth, right? So we want to be truthful people in a world full of lies. Look, no. What you're saying is lies. I'm going to be a speaker of truth. I'm not going to be afraid. I'm going to speak the truth. And it says here, I'm a servant to the elderly and youth. Again, this is conducive to life, right? Protect the elderly. The elderly, man, you got to protect the elderly. I'm going to tell you why you got to protect the elderly. That's where your stories are. That's where your history is. That's where your wisdom is. People be ignoring the elderly, man. I go to the family union, I'll be kicking it with my elders, man, and be just listening to them talk and just having them give me a version of the history as opposed to the one that I'm fed on the, through whatever apparatus. It's different when you're getting it from the primary source person that lived it and how they tell it. You start putting pictures in your head. That's the real good history I love to hear. So, serve the elderly. Youth. Again, hotepnation.com. We're working on homeschooling for the youth, supporting that community. 9, I am a servant to my community. You got to serve your community in some way, somehow. I volunteer in my local community. 10, I'm a master of law and finance. Now these are 10 is more of a Hotep update, right? Like these other tenets here is kind of like, you know, mandatory prerequisite, right? 1 through 9 are like prerequisite, right? And 10 is like an amendment based upon living in America or whatever establishment has been conquered by the West, right? Because people like to ignore these things. And like when you ignore 10, I'm a master of law and finance. When you ignore something like that, it makes you, you're not updated for your environment. Like you're not paying attention to where you are. Now I'm not saying you got to go and be a law student, but like managing a stock portfolio, like you should absolutely know that. Law, you should know a little bit of law. You should understand like something, right? How it works, the Constitution, et cetera, right? You should study up. I'm not saying become a major on it, but you should study up on it, right? You should have access to lawyers, access to financial people. And I don't mean, people you trust, not somebody you've hired, right? People you trust who have studied this. Shout out to Patriot J, and this is a lawyer. Shout out to Andrew Esquire, a lawyer. These are 2 guys I could reach out, right? So like if I'm not studied up on law, which I'm not, I can reach out or watch these guys' content and brush up. They'll brush me up. So having those outlets that you trust, to dissect some of these things, and then finance, right? Same thing. If you're not brushed up, I happen to be brushed up. This is sort of where I live. I live in the financial sector of the world. They call it fintech, right? So I'm in like that fintech world. And obviously do the crypto. But I think this is probably the most important subject you would teach in a school is probably finance, which is the one thing that they don't teach in school, right? Like if it was me, like kids would be learning finance like at grade 1. We'd be teaching them banking. It'd just be a course every year, right? Like it's like math, science, banking. Actually, you wouldn't even have math. I would just give you banking and you'd learn math while doing banking. And that's what I would do. Markel, thank you for the super chat. He said the problem today is when you try to explain your perspective is you realize people aren't operating with totally different sets of facts. So it's pointless a lot of times to speak because people are dug into their stupidity. Yeah. You definitely don't want to combat the matrix. Remember, like when you walking through the matrix, everybody's a potential agent. Everybody's a potential Agent Smith, right? He could just pop in anybody's body. But yeah, you definitely don't want to combat the sentience. Don't combat the sentience. It's just it's a losing battle. Because like you said, they're living in an alternate reality. That's really what's happening. They're in an alternate reality. And I'm glad you brought that up because this was like another part of my thesis here on fear. Is these people fear, these people who create fear are like not intelligent. These people who create fear are fearful themselves. But they're weak. Like they're literally weak. They're literally weak people. I mean, just look at some of the things that they've created. Look at and then also you have to look at the hypocriticalness of their nature. Right? Because you have somebody like Lori Harvey who's trying to get healthy and now she's saying she's fat phobic, right? So it's just like, okay, maybe you want to be fat and you want people to be fat and that's fine. Knock yourselves out. Eat your heart out. Anyway, so they attack Lori Harvey. Now, whether it's bots or not, it just lets you know that the direction that this is coming from, the Bolshevik side, obviously, the Bolshevik coordinate of the political sphere, should let you know everything. it's just hypocritical, right? So that's the thing that it becomes alarming. Let you know you need to distance yourself from this pack of wolves. This pack of wolves. Right? So then, if you're on my email list, I wrote this other piece, right? And this one is called Cash In. Okay. Cash In. You ready? So it goes, what's after this? The next level. Who's your competition? You are. Who's the only one with the power to stop you? You. That's Hotep energy. Do what is required to acquire what you desire. But what drives me most? Because I have a fear. Hotep Jesus definitely has a fear. My fear is 5 years pass and I look back wishing I could have done more. I don't want that regret haunting me. Do more now. Time with family is time well spent. Time with family is greater than time on the internet. The best startups are children. Invest in the next gen. The future is now. Success doesn't come overnight, but it comes in a flash. Catch your moment, then cash in. With love, Brian Sharp, aka Hotep Jesus. Let's come back to a part of that. My fear. Looking back and wishing I could have done more. Oh my God, this regret haunts me so much when I look at my 20s. Oh my God. I want to cry. It's crazy. So like looking back on the time that I've wasted, and I'm just looking at collectively moments, nights, days, weeks, whatever it was, of time lost. I'm like, it's like, you think Bitcoin is valuable? Nigga, a minute is valuable. A minute's worth like 100 Bitcoin. A minute is worth like 100 Bitcoin. What's the exchange rate of Bitcoin to a minute? Black Hotep says, I have to work. I'll be listening to this knowledge tonight. Thank you for keeping us posted in our growth as Hoteps. Absolutely. Absolutely. But that's my fear, right? We talk about fear. That's my fear. Look what fear can do for an individual. My fear, I've turned into a strength. Now I have to captivate every moment of my life, right? And I'm like adamant about it, dedicated. Because of fear. Fear. Markel, so quick question. Do you think Marcus Aurelius and the Stoic philosophy is Hotep? No. No. Is there an overlap on the diagram? Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a lot of stoicism to Hotep. A lot of stoicism to Hotep. But Hotep is the predecessor to stoicism. This is what we're missing. Right? So it's just like saying like it's like saying is the computer is the iPhone the computer? It's like, no, the computer is the iPhone. Like the computer comes before the iPhone, right? So without the computer, there is no iPhone. Without the computer chip, there is no iPhone, right? So like, no, you can't reverse chronology what something is. What we're bringing is straight out of, the teachings of Ptah, Imhotep, right? And that's before we get to Marcus Aurelius. This predates Marcus Aurelius. What Marcus Aurelius is giving you becomes something known as Stoic philosophy, but is very specific to Marcus Aurelius. If you listen to the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, he is not teaching you something secondhand. Okay? He's not teaching you something secondhand. He is teaching you something firsthand, what he sees and going around in his life. He's giving you experience-based philosophy. Some of it he was taught, but he's seen it played out. Anytime Marcus Aurelius is talking about a piece of subject matter, he often has a story or a person that he's relating it to. If you ever listen to him, you'll notice that. So I think Marcus Aurelius, no. Stoic philosophy is called common sense. Stoic philosophy is called being a man. They call it stoicism. No, it's just being a man. It's being what you were meant to be. A man. Women may have a harder time with Stoic philosophy, and it's because they weren't created for Stoic philosophy. Man was created for Stoicism. Women were created for creation. Life. That's why you see the political strife around that subject matter. 1 minute equals 600 BTC. Oh, man. Eli said nothing hurts more than wasted time. Bro. That's my fear, man, wasting time. And the time that I spend, I try to, man, if you guys don't see me online, I'm with the fam, bro. I'm with the kids. Markel said, thank you, H.J. This is what I need to hear. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you're going to hear stoicism from Hotep because, like, that's what man was created to be. You see it in all of the animals. I want to say almost all of them. Obviously not all of them, but I'll go ants, I'll go bees, and I'll go lions. We'll go with those, right? Ants, you got the queen bee. The drones, they really don't have no fucking fear. They just carry out orders, protect the queen at all costs, protect life at all costs, go out, go get the food, protect, provide. Very manly shit. Very stoic. Ants are stoic. Same thing with the bees, these insects, right? Same thing with the male. When the females feel like the male can no longer protect them and can no longer help in the hunt, because people say, well, the felines do most of the hunting. Yeah, you keep thinking that. When it's time to carry down that big buffalo, Big Daddy comes along. Big Daddy comes and he helps take down that big buck. Sometimes they need Big Daddy to help. They be like, yo, look, we having some trouble. Can you help? And he comes and he handles business, okay? I don't know, I have this fascination with watching like documentaries about lions. So I know a little bit about them. Just a little bit though. The females, the funny thing about the females is as soon as he can no longer protect and provide, they bounce on his ass. They bounce. You ain't doing your job no more. It's cold. That's cold. She said, and the male lion lets the rest of the pride eat first. It's a cold world out here for a man. You need to be aware of that. It's a cold world out here for a man. If you ain't ready to deal with that, you ain't ready to be dealing with being a man. And that's why some people decide to stop being a man. That's why some people decide, I don't want to be a man. Because of what I just explained right there. Because they not built for it. They not built for a world that's cold to a man. They not built for it. I don't blame them. All right, you ain't make the cut. Yeah, they throw his ass out. He gone. He gone. Um, I had a boyfriend that didn't work and had me paying for everything. That was tough. No urgency in him. Young man have trouble with this. I mean, I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. You got to know what kind of stock you buying. You know, when you buying into a man, you got to know if he got the potential or not. Because it might make sense to nurture a man for a little while. I ain't even gonna hold you. It might, young man. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard out here today too. So you might need to nurture him. Sometimes y'all just be picking the wrong one to nurture. Like he ain't got no skills. He can't do nothing but trap. It's like, you might not want to nurture that unless you want to be a trapper. You know what I mean? You got to assess, well, what are the upsides of his potential skill set, and what are his ambitions towards getting some skill sets, because he could start actually earning. But if you can't analyze what skill sets he has and what skill sets can he actually learn, then you got to let him go. But the problem is the reason why we're not making the progress to release humanity from the Bolsheviks is because of fear. That's the one thing that I've noticed, is that everybody's afraid of something. Oh, I'm going to get fired, or oh, I'm going to get canceled, or that fear. And although that may be true, you might get fired. You might get canceled, whatever that means. What happens then? Now, I know a lot of entertainers right now who have sponsorships, and if they speak up or say certain things, they'll lose those sponsorships. And I'm saying to myself, you're not losing sponsorships, you're losing fake friends, you're losing fake money. Like, you didn't have a good relationship with that corporation, because if you had a good relationship with a corporation, or your contracts were set up properly, that wouldn't even be possible. So it's kind of letting you know, okay, well, let me tighten up my contracts. Let me tighten up my relationships with the people I'm working with. You see what I'm saying? Let me tighten up these relationships. This will alarm you to, okay, here's some things I need to do in my life. So let me tighten up these relationships I have with my sponsors, and tie this money down for 10 years and make the appropriate adjustments so you can be free. I'm never telling somebody to make the rash action that would cause calamity in your life. No, we are very tactical, very strategic. So take your time to get to the point where you can be free and you can speak your mind, but you have to be working towards that. You can't be always trapped in this fear mindset of saying, oh, I'm going to hide what I'm saying. No, if you have to hide how you really feel, you need to change your life. There's a change that needs to come in your life. That's not conducive to life. You are not free. You're not free. I hate to tell you. What's that? Moringa oleifera. Hold on, let me read the chat. Are people afraid of getting canceled, fired, or the unknown? Fear of the unknown. Well, the fear of the unknown is basically the devil's playground. That's where you start having these fear-based machinations, right? False evidence appearing real. They're created in the unknown, right? So the unknown makes that possible. But that's the turning point of how you handle fear. Are you going to say something positive about this fear-based moment that's coming in your life, or are you going to say something negative? What are the visions you put in your mind? What are the things you see? What are the visions you put in your mind? What are the visions you put in your mind? Ownership is powerful. Ownership over optics as well. Also true. Lining yourself up. I know people, man, who do very well for themselves, and they get to say what they want online, and they do very well for themselves, obviously because they're in the right place. Shout out to Rated Nation, said my bro dropping science. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. Oh, excuse me. It seems like you can't be free if you're not financially free. Who pays you has a lot of influence over you. Ah, good point. It's not about being financially free. It's about being financially free from people who don't have your interest. You can be financially dependent upon people who have your best interest and agree with you and like you, or at least are open and like, if you disagree with me on this subject, I don't care. Can you just show up to work tomorrow and handle this shift? Like, there's a lot of people like that in this world. Like, I don't care what your political beliefs are. Can you just do this job? There's a lot of people like that. They're called, you know what they are? You know what they're called? They're called capitalists. They're called capitalists. That's what they're called. These people don't care. See, the thing is, the only people who can afford to discriminate based upon political beliefs are A, the fearful, and B, the super rich. The big corps. The big corps are the only one that can do that because they can afford to take the loss and be picky about who they hire because they already ahead of the game. They can take the loss. In fact, they want to take the loss. That's how they, tax benefits. But people who want to make money, they're like, I just need the best person to do the job. And if I'm excluding it because of some Trump tweets, then I'm hurting myself. So that's why I say capitalism is a beautiful thing because people are incentivized not to discriminate. That's why I say when people discriminate, they're only hurting themselves. In fact, discrimination was created by the government. Never forget, it was not created by the capitalist market. Discrimination was not created by the free market. Discrimination was created because of the free market. I'm going to say that one more time. Discrimination was not created by the free market. It was created because of the free market. You wouldn't have to create laws that say black people can't hang with white people unless black people were already hanging with white people. You got to tell the full story when we talk about history. Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. Ah, yes. The infamous words of Yoda. Yes, that's the negative side of fear. It's the negative side of fear. But fear is not to be feared. Fear is to be welcome. I welcome fear. Malice, I think my interview with Malice comes out. What is today? Tuesday? Monday? What is today? Today's Tuesday. So Malice interview comes out tomorrow. Yeah. And on there, I was talking about, he asked me, am I nervous when I go on road? And I'm like, hell yeah. But again, like I told y'all before, like if I'm not nervous, it's a problem. Oh my Jesus. Oh my God. These chats coming in. Would y'all relax, please? Oh my God. Let me digest it, Hotep. That's like UFC. They don't care what you politically believe. Just show up and have a good fight. Bingo. Remember I said on Rogan, I said Dana White is one of the most important people of this time period. And that's exactly why, no matter what's going on in the world, that fight gonna go down. And that's that. That's power. You need a space where all the bullshit y'all arguing about in the world does not matter. You need that space. That space has to exist. Damn, HA is too free. He forgot what day it is. KC Snow says, stay uncomfortable. Relax about killing the one true heir. He said, stay uncomfortable. Yeah. I agree with that. But I always come back to this Russian Revolution shit. So he says, relax about killing the one true heir. So anyway, so monarchy, we were talking about this in a Rogan the other day, monarchy, and this is a segue, we'll get back to fear in a moment. Monarchy as opposed to democratic republic. I think the Bolshevik Revolution is exactly why a monarchy is better than a democratic republic for the people, at least, because at least, and that's what I always say, I was like, yeah, it's centralized power right within the hands of the state, right? But at least you can get rid of a monarchy. And we've seen how easy that was from the Bolshevik Revolution. It's just one family. Goodbye. Next. You need that. But a democratic republic can't really wrestle that away from the state. So again, the creation of the Duma. Following the rules, but and Malice has a book coming out soon about this. I can't wait to hear it. See it. Montoya said good morning, HA. Good morning, love. Good morning, Queen. And one time,
Hotep.
I found faith in the lockdowns. Don't mean to bring anyone down. Fear is the enemy of reason. Money is the gateway to freedom. The man with the gold rules. Yeah, fear is my power. Fear is my power. I give speeches, like I give lectures here on YouTube, and people saying, aren't you ever nervous when you go on the internet? I'm like, of course I am. And I coach kids soccer, so I asked a young boy, it was his first game this week, and I asked him, I said, you nervous? And he was honest with me. He said, yeah, I am. And I said, good. And he said, good. Why you say that, coach? I said, because that means you care. When you stop caring and you stop nervous, that's when you should be worried. And that's all we said to each other. He kind of just sat there with it. I didn't say nothing else. He just kind of sat there with it. But that's the powerful side of what they call fear. But fear manifests in like heightening your nerves. This is what Eli was talking about before when it comes to awareness. It's like heightening your awareness. It's just putting everything on alert status. And it is at this moment where you are the most receptive to influences, whether they be positive or negative, right? So you can open yourself up, become completely present, and get all types of downloads from the cosmic essence, cosmic intelligence, God, whatever it may be, Jesus, whoever you get your beams from. But you need to get your beams, and and Kanye talks about these streams of consciousness. It's exactly what it is. That's why sometimes like you hear me talking, and I'm just like, sometimes it'll seem like I'm all over the place. It's because I got like streaming thoughts coming in at multiple at a time, and then I don't know which one I should get out first. And I try to just stay the course though. See, like, where was I even going with that? I don't even remember what I was talking about. Somebody remind me. Blue beams. But fear is my power source. That is, I welcome fear, because it lets me know important things are happening in my life. If you're not getting moments of fear, are you even doing anything important? You should be fearful a lot, because it means you're like trying things. Right? That's what fear means. Oh, some new shit happening. Like fear literally equals like new too, right? Like fear is letting some new shit happening. Some important event is on the horizon. I should act. I should do something here, right? He said, is it fear or being present? Fear creates the ability to be present. Right? They're like, I see where you're going. They're like almost synonymous. They're almost synonymous. I just wouldn't equate the two, because I know what presence is without fear. Like I can do both. It's just different types of presence. There's like an alarming presence, and then there's like a calm presence. I guess that would be the duality, the upper and lower side, the north and south of it. But it can be, fear can be present. But it really it definitely can make you present. For some people it makes them unpresent though. Like, and that's what we talk about, false evidence appearing real. Like it can make you unpresent. You can start thinking about all types of shit that aren't actually real, right? Fear is the catalyst for presence. Yeah, it makes it possible. It makes it, you see it in animals when they're being hunted. Yeah. So it can be. It definitely can be. But it's that for me, if I'm not, like when I had Lupe on, right? Did I have nerves? Yeah. I was I listened to Lupe a lot, man. I was bumping that shit when the first two albums came out, man. Couldn't tell me nothing. Food and Liquor too. So to have him on my platform was dope. You know, I go on Malice, I'm nervous. If I'm not nervous, it's like, this probably isn't important enough. Like that's how sometimes like I'll be looking at people ask me to come on their podcast. I'm just like, if I'm not nervous, and it's just like it's probably a podcast probably isn't an important enough conversation. Especially when I ask people things like some dude asked me to be on this podcast, and I was like, what you want to talk about? And then it's just like whatever he said just didn't move me. So it's just like, I'll circle back. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's talk about something. Tell me what you really want to talk about. Like, let's dive into the meat of things. Don't just hit me up because you seen me on Rogan and now you wanna get your grift points in. You know what I'm saying? Like, really know my material and let's sit down and talk. But if I don't feel fear of coming on your show, like InfoWars, was I afraid to go on InfoWars the first time? Hell yeah. I was like, wait, is this career shattering? Because once you go on InfoWars, ain't no going back. But I was like, yo, that means probably I should do it then. If I'm fearful, I should probably do it. So I did it. And I did it multiple times. And I'll do it again. Like, like what are we really afraid of? Like, that's the thing about the left. The left is so much the Wizard of Oz. The Bolsheviks are the Wizard of Oz. They put this fake facade up of this thing you're supposed to be afraid of. Behind the wall, behind the curtain, some little pipsqueak of a man who's fearful. That's literally what we're dealing with. And that's what the movie was about. The Wizard of Oz is literally about fear. Let's pull it up. One of my subscribers on this channel put me onto this. I'm gonna pull it up on the screen. This is funny. I don't know if you guys knew this. All right, The Wizard of Oz and the Gold Standard. Okay, the symbolism. Okay, so Dorothy's house gets carried away in a cyclone and lands on the Wicked Witch of the East, right? After she receives a pair of magic slippers. In the book, the shoes are not silver. In the book, the shoes are silver, not ruby as they're shown in the film, okay? Littlefield believed that Dorothy represented the average American and the magic silver shoes represented the 1890s free silver movement. If you read my book, The Patriot Report, you would be aware of silver and its monetary value in the market. During the Severe Depression, many populists believed that the government should adopt an inflationary monetary system, freely minting silver money in order to give the economy a boost. Okay. So Scarecrow represents Western farmers. The Cowardly Lion represented the cowardly politician. Perhaps William Jennings Bryan. Now that's funny, right? Because if you read my book, so William Jennings Bryan is secretary, and I think Secretary of State, but he's during the Woodrow Wilson administration, and he's dealing with like Colonel Mandel House, and who's the other douche? I can't recall. But yeah, so William Jennings Bryan, I thought was a hero when I looked at the book. But also you got to remember he stepped down. So that could be another reason why, somebody called him cowardly, because he stepped down. He retired. He's like, yo, there's nothing I could do here. This administration's fucked. I looked at him, but I can see how people would look at him as cowardly. Anyway, Toto, prohibitionist. Wicked Witch of the East, Eastern factory owners and industrialists. Wicked Witch of the West, the trust. The one popular solution to the trust problem was to dissolve the abbreviation. All right, hold on. That's actually not a good one. Let's see what this one is. So, because I know the gold. Come on, motherfucker. Do I gotta use Wiki? Are y'all so terrible? We gotta use Wiki. Because I know the yellow brick road is supposed to be the gold, like the gold standard. Special. Right. Yeah. So the yellow brick road right here represents the gold standard. Boom. Right. So this is all allegory, right? Right. But it's all allegory. Basically saying that the same people you are afraid of is the little man behind the curtain. Y'all literally afraid of the little man behind the curtain. I mean, it's like saying, like, you know, who is creating inflation? The man behind the curtain. And you're afraid. And you're afraid because of what? You're this little man. It's like the elephant, right? The elephant you tie with a string to the tree and he never moves. I believe what they do is they chain him and then they can change it to a rope at any time and he'll never try to break free again. It's like you're mentally trapped based upon some shit that don't exist. That's what fear can do. That's what fear can do. It can trap you. It's wild, man. Pain creates fear. Pain can create fear. Pain can create fear. A lot of things create fear. But I think overall, you know, it's important events create fear. You know, events that matter in your life create fear. But you want it. You want some amount of fear. Shout out to Khaled Cooper. Who else? Send me cash apps. $ Hotep Jesus. All right. Which I got some more terms and conditions where y'all gonna tell me my Bitcoin is yours. Renee Vogel, appreciate you. Spencer J. Holman, appreciate you. Bernard Carter II, appreciate you. Word. I just want to shout out to my wonderful Cash Appers. Appreciate you guys. I think that's all I wanted to cover as far as fear is concerned. But that's what I wanted people to understand, man. It's like the powerful side of fear, and then like, what are we actually fearing? Like, there's a powerful side of fear. What are we fearing? Y'all fearing that little man behind? Because I'm telling you, it doesn't exist. Like, whatever you're afraid of, like, it doesn't exist. You know, you're afraid you might get fired. What if you get a promotion because your boss is like, hey, you know, I voted for Trump. You know, like, what are you really afraid? You never know what could happen. You know? I remember when I was working with 50 Cent at that startup. He was our partner. And I was working with the C-level cats. I was working with the people at my level too, but the C-level cats was the ones that was pulling me into meetings. Because I was the only one in meetings stepping up and saying shit. Everybody else was so afraid to speak during meetings. I had no fear. I was nervous before speaking, obviously, which made me probably more meticulous with my words, but I spoke up. Hey, look, you know, we need to do this, we need to do that. Here's some ideas, da 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 da. So C-level cats was like, all right, we got somebody here that's a walking, talking human being. Let's get them involved. While everybody else is just trying to keep their job. I was just so happy to have a job. I was trying to kill it. Trying to be the best at it. C-Town, thank you. Appreciate you, man. I do about 5 minutes of questions. If y'all got questions, comments, concerns, I'll spend about 5 minutes now with y'all. Hotep is the only person I've seen speak without beating around the bush on the Yamin. I mean, going back to the 10 Hotep commandments, number 7, I am a speaker of truth. I am a speaker of truth. I just try to give it to people honest, man. Rob Kaiser, fantastic today. Thank you. You already know, bro. Appreciate you. Shout out to Rob Kaiser. He got some fire articles up on Motherboard.com. Oh, man. Dragon Fox, you got to relax. Sometimes you can take too much of a red pill. Eli, thank you. Appreciate that. Next book I'm working on, it's in the political vein. It's in the political vein. It's so what happened is I saw somebody say something about the Patriot Report, and he said really not much extrapolation or opinion giving or interpretation of the information presented in the Patriot Report. But again, it's called the Patriot Report. It's just a report. It's what it is. A report isn't supposed to be trying to sway your opinions and or doing a whole lot of interpretation for you. You are supposed to interpret the data for yourself. That's why it's called the Patriot Report, because it's a report. It's not a book. And I think maybe that's what some people wanted from me. They may want, well, what does Hotep Jesus think about all these facts and information? And I think that's not what I was giving you. What I was giving you, the facts and information, you tell me what you think about the facts and information, sir. That's how I felt. So this next one is more of a breakdown of how I view our world or our country, and then how we attack it, right? That's the next book that's coming. Dax, I hung out with Dax last week. We had a good time. Dax says, fear, depression are the alarms that you are at the limits of your comfort zone. Who you must become is not within your comfort zone. You have to push to those alarms, then go beyond them. Exactly. You got to go beyond those limits, man. Yeah. Y'all read the Patriot Report, man. It's wild. It's wild. It's wild. Have you considered making a compilation of ancient wisdom to give Hoteps an official or Hotep stoicism book, for lack of a better term? Yeah, I've thought about it, but you don't have to do that. You don't have to. That's one thing I learned, is you don't have to tell people how to be. You just be it. Because people don't do what you say, they do what you do. People don't do what you say, they do what you do. That's why I try to act Christ-like. Because I don't want to be responsible for making evil people. The human race is based upon copying. That's what we do. That's why we grow as a species. That's why technology becomes great. Because we copy each other. And if you copy a bad copy, you ever seen a copy of a bad copy on like a fax machine? We got to copy good copies. You got to create good copies. So that's what I try to do. I just try to be what I think people need to be, and act, which is more conducive to great health, great mental health. Because you could log online and be in bad mental health, reading some of the stuff that's going on in the world. Oh my God. Khalid Cooper with the big boy super chat. Appreciate you. You could develop cancer just by fucking logging on to Twitter. Twitter can give you cancer though. Oh man, it's comedy. It's comedy. Disclaimer: comedy. I'm joking, obviously, but no. So we have to be careful with the content we consume. Yeah, yeah. So is there a way I can put into words what you should be? But I feel like people already know what that is. I think people already know what that is, for the most part. He said NKLSLK to speak on the Buffalo event. Be prepared. What? I'm too old to understand what Cannon just wrote. I know this is probably some new internet speak that I don't understand. You got to interpret for me, bro. I'm out the loop. Got to stay active and keep pushing forward. Yeah, absolutely. Can you make a version of your books for dummies? The hood need that, no cap. I made the YouTube videos for y'all. Because the information in the Patriot Report, oh my God, it's dense. It's dense. It's very dense. He said reverse psychology, basically. Yeah, I guess it's kind of a reverse psychology. I just wanted people. Oh, Nickel Slick. Oh, Nickel Slick. He gonna speak on the event? Uh-oh. Let me know if you want to grift off of it. I'll take that one. I'll take that one live. What time you going on? Hit me up. Me and Cannon go live. Nickel Slick, that's Joe. That's Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. But yeah, you don't have to. It's even hard to put into words, like what is God? Like the only way to describe God is to say the unfathomable, right? To try to put it in words, you're just kind of like, you'll never actually hit the target. You'll come close, but you'll never hit the target. It's impossible. You just can't do it. Like, stop trying. Stop it. Like the Buffalo incident. I'm not tuned into that frequency, yo. I'm not tuned into that frequency. I can't be. That should have drained you. Yo. These events, and then here come Nickel Slick. He gonna come try to drain us. You know what I'm saying? I might ride the wave grift here if it's good enough. If the timing's right. But for the most part, it's just like, I'm too old, man. Video called, I got kids. I got kids and shit, man. But nah, you don't gotta put it in writing. I think people know what's right. Lead with love. That's the only thing I need to put in writing is lead with love. That's it. Lead with love. How do you help children with their fear of death? Jesus Christ, I don't fucking know. What kind of question is that? Oh my God. He said the feed is live? Oh, you on the road? Oh, he about to go live right now? Hold up. Let's go see what's going on at the White House. Y'all want to just turn this into the Biden fucking watch party?
With extraordinary compassion and empathy.
All right, fuck it.
They wanted to be here for this community.
We're turning this into the Biden watch party. What time is it? I ain't got shit to do.
Joe Biden and First Lady, Dr. Joe Biden.
See how smooth I caught that? Like, I'll griff if the time is right. I'll griff if the time is right. The time is, see how God works? God works in mysterious ways. I don't fight it. I just ride the wave.
Before I begin, Jill would like to say a few words.
I just wanted to say thank you to the families for opening up your hearts to us and for letting us be with you today. So God bless you, and thank you for allowing us to be with you. Yeah.
Majority Leader Schumer and Senator Gillibrand and Congressman Higgins. And Gov, thank you for taking my call when I called. And I'll never forget what she said. I said, I'd like to maybe come up if it's okay. She said, this is a big Scranton. Come. And I think you're doing a heck of a job. Thank you. Thank you for your heart as well as your head. And Mayor Brown, you've been wonderful. Thank you. And I know this is a lot of, when a vice presidential or a presidential trip shows up, it's there's all kinds of paraphernalia and people, and I know it's not easy. I want to thank your law enforcement officers for not just what they did in this crisis, but for accommodating us, and all the elected officials and law enforcement officers, first responders, and faith leaders that are here today. Jill and I have come to stand with you, and to the families, we've come to grieve with you. It's not the same, but we know a little bit what it's like to lose a piece of your soul. When you lose a son, a daughter, a husband, a wife, a mother, a father. The feeling of having that, as I said to some of you when we talked privately, you feel like there's a black hole in your chest you're being sucked into, and you're suffocating, unable to breathe. That's what it felt like, at least to us, and I'm sure some version of that feels that way to you. The anger, the pain, the depth of a loss that's so profound. You know, we know it's hard to believe, and you're probably not going to believe it, but I can tell you now, from our personal experience and many others who we've met, the day's going to come, it will come, when your loved one brings a smile as you remember him or her. As you remember her, it's going to bring a smile to your lip before it brings a tear to your eye. It takes a while for that to happen. It takes a while. Might take more than a season. But our prayer for you is that that time comes sooner or later, but I promise you it will come. As a nation, I say to the families, we remember them. We've been reading about them. We visited the memorial where they show the love for them, and you've all shown by the supermarket. And Celestine Cheney, 65 years old, brain cancer survivor, churchgoer, bingo player, went to buy strawberries to make her favorite shortcake. A loving mother and a grandmother. Roberta Drury, 32, beloved daughter and sister, moved back home to help take care of her brother after his bone marrow transplant. She went to buy groceries for dinner. The center of attention, who made everyone in the room laugh and smile when she walked in. Andre McNeil, 53, worked at a restaurant, went to buy his 3-year-old son a birthday cake. His son's selling a birthday, asking where's daddy. Catherine Massey, 72, a writer and an advocate, who dressed up in costumes at schools and cut the grass in the park and helped in local elections, the glue of the family and the community. Marcus Morrison, 52, school bus aide, went to buy snacks for a weekly movie night with the family, survived by his wife and 3 children and a stepdaughter.
Yo, Jill is on
The
watch.
center of their world. Hayward Patterson, 67, father, church deacon, fed the homeless at the soup kitchen, gave rides at the grocery store to neighbors who needed help, putting food in the trunk of others when he took his final breath. Aaron Solder, 55,
What up,
retired
Jeff?
Buffalo police officer for 3 decades. 3 decades. Loved electric cars. Hero who gave his life to save others on a Saturday afternoon. And had that man not been wearing that vest that he purchased, bulletproof vest, a lot of lives would have been saved. A beloved father and husband. Geraldine Talley, 62,
So what are we
expert
doing? We're waiting
banker,
on him to
known
talk
for her
about,
warm, gentle personality, a friend to everybody,
gun
devoted
control.
mother and grandmother. Ruth Whitfield, 88, beloved wife, mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, sang in the church choir, a caretaker of her husband, bringing him clean clothes, cutting his hair, holding his hand every day she visited him in the nursing home. Heart as big as her head. Pearl Young, 77, a mother, grandmother, missionary of God, public school teacher, who also ran the local food pantry. Loved singing, dancing, and her family. And all 3 are injured. Zaire Goodman, 20, shot in the neck, but fighting through it. Jennifer Warrington, 50, Christopher Braden, 55, both treated with injuries on a long road to recovery. Individual lives of love, service, and community that speaks to the bigger story of who we are as Americans. A great nation, because we're good people. Jill and I bring you this message from deep in our nation's soul. In America, evil will not win, I promise you. Hate will not prevail, and white supremacy will not have the last word. For the evil did come to Buffalo. And it's come to all too many places. Manifesting gunmen who massacred innocent people in the name of hateful and perverse ideology, rooted in fear and racism. It's taken so much.
racism, fear.
10 lives cut short in a grocery store. 3 other wounded by a hate-filled individual who had driven 200 miles from Binghamton in that range
Faith, I'm good.
to carry out a murderous, racist rampage that he would live stream to the
Lawrence
world.
said, I bet none of these people really ain't no way this man is
What
remembering
happened
all
here
of
is
this.
simple and straightforward. Terrorism. Terrorism. Domestic terrorism. Violence inflicted in the service of hate and the vicious thirst for power that defines one group of people being inherently inferior to any other group. A hate that through the media and politics, the internet, has radicalized, angry, alienated, lost, and isolated individuals into falsely believing that they will be replaced, that's the word, replaced, by the other, by people who don't look like them, and who are therefore in a perverse ideology that they possess and being fed lesser beings. I and all of you reject the lie. I call on all Americans to reject the lie. And I condemn those who spread the lie for power, political gain, and for profit. That's what it is.
He's over here describing himself.
We've now seen too many times the deadly and destructive violence this ideology unleashes. We heard the chants, "You will not replace us," in Charlottesville, Virginia. I wasn't going to run, as the senator knows, again for president. But when I saw those people coming out of the woods of the fields in Virginia, in Charlottesville, carrying torches, shouting, "You will not replace us," accompanied by white supremacists and carrying Nazi banners, that's when I said, no. No. And I, honest to God, those who know me, Chuck, you know, I wasn't going to run for certain. But I was going to be darned if I was going to let anyway. We'll get going. Look, we've seen the mass shootings in Charleston, South Carolina, El Paso, Texas, and Pittsburgh, last year in Atlanta, this week in Dallas, Texas, and now in Buffalo, New York. White supremacy is a poison. It's a poison running through it really is.
Oh, he's laying it on thick.
Running through our body politic. And it's been allowed to fester and grow right in front of our eyes. No more. I mean, no more. We need to say as clearly and forcefully as we can that the ideology of white supremacy has no place in America. None.
These are the same people who funded Nazis.
Failure for us to not say that, failure in saying that, is going to be complicity. Silence is complicity. It's complicity. We cannot remain silent. Our nation's strength has always come from the idea. It's going to sound corny, but think about it. What's the idea of our nation? That we're all children of God. All life, liberty, our universal goods, gifts of God. We didn't get it from a government. We got it from because we exist. We're called upon to defend them. The venom of the haters and their weapons of war, the violence and the words and deeds that stalk our streets, our stores, our schools. This venom, this violence cannot be the story of our time. We cannot allow that to happen. Look, I'm not naive. I know tragedy will come again. It cannot be forever overcome. It cannot be fully understood either. But there are certain things we can do. We can keep assault weapons off our streets.
There it goes.
We've done it before.
There it goes.
We did it when we passed the crime bill last time.
There it goes.
And violence went down. Shootings went down. You can't prevent people from being radicalized to violence. But we can address the relentless exploitation of the internet to recruit and mobilize terrorism. We just need to have the courage to do that, to stand up. Look, the American experiment in democracy is in a danger like it hasn't been in my lifetime. It's in danger this hour. Hate and fear are being given too much oxygen by those who pretend to love America.
Hate and fear.
But who don't understand America. To confront the ideology of hate requires caring about all people, not making distinctions. Reverend, the scripture is seeing that we're all part of the divine. Love thy neighbor as thyself. That's the America I know, that Jill knows. And most deserve the most, look, we're the most multiracial, most dynamic nation in the history of the world. Now's the time for the people of all races, from every background, to speak up as a majority in America and reject white supremacy. These actions we've seen in these hate-filled attacks represent the views of a hate-filled minority. We can't allow them to distort America, the real America. We can't allow them to destroy the soul of the nation. As President of the United States, I travel the world all the time. And other nations ask me, heads of state in other countries, ask me, what's going on? What in God's name happened on January 6th? What happened in Buffalo? What happened? They ask. We have to refuse to live in a country where black people going about a weekly grocery shopping can be gunned down by weapons of war deployed in a racist cause. We have to refuse to live in a country where fear and lies are packaged for power and for profit. We must all enlist in this great cause of America. This is work that requires all of us, presidents, politicians, commentators, citizens. None of us can stay in the sidelines. We have to resolve that here in Buffalo, that from the tragedy, this tragedy will come hope and light and life. It has to. And that on our watch, The sacred cause of America will never bow, never break, never bend. And the American we love, the one we love, will endure. So to the families, from your pain, may we find purpose to live life worthy of the loved ones you lost. From a hymn based on the 91st Psalm that's sung in my church. May he raise you up on eagle's wings and bear you on the breath of dawn, make you to shine like the sun, and hold you in the palm of his hand. That's my wish for us. We can do this if we resolve to do it. If we take on the haters and those who don't even care, it's just about profit and politics. May the soul of the fallen rest in peace and rise in glory. And may God guide the United States of America, now and always. To the families, as my grandpop used to say when I walked out of his home in Scranton, he'd say, "Joey, spread the faith." And my grandma would yell, "No, Joey." He'd say, "Keep the faith." And my grandma would say, "No, Joey, spread the faith." We're thinking of you. Hold on to each other tightly. Stick together. You'll get through this. And we'll make Buffalo and the United States a better place to live than it is today.
Jill Biden cracks me up because she, I'm gonna have Ken and Hotep call in a second. Jill Biden cracks me up because she always looks like she's cringing or concerned, like, he went beyond the script. Like just now at the end there, I'll show you actually. Watch this. Just watch Jill and her mannerisms. When he starts talking about his grandpa.
Can do this if we resolve to do it. If we take on the haters.
The haters. Huh?
Home in Scranton, he'd say, "Joey."
Right here.
As my grandpop used to say when I walked
right
out
here.
of his
Watch
home
it.
in
She
Scranton,
like,
he'd
shit.
say, "Joey,
see her praying?
Spread the faith."
Right there. Did you see that?
As my grandpop used to say when I walked out of his home in Scranton, he'd say, "Joey."
See her? She like,
Spread
he
the
just went off
faith.
script.
And my grandma would yell,
Her
"No,
hands are
Joey."
nervous now.
He'd say, "Keep the faith." And my
See?
grandma.
And then he stutters.
My grandpop used to say when I walked out of his home in Scranton, he'd
See
say,
her look at him?
"Joey."
Like, wait.
My
that wasn't part
grandpop
of the
used to
script.
say when I walked out of his home in Scranton, he'd say, "Joey, spread the faith." And my grandma would yell, "No, Joey." He'd say, "Keep the faith." And my grandma would say, "No, Joey."
What?
My grandpop used to say when I walked out of his home in Scranton, he'd say, "Joey, spread the faith." And my grandma would yell, "No, Joey." He'd say, "Keep the faith." My grandma would say, "No, Joey, spread the faith." We're thinking of you. Hold on to each other tightly.
She's
Stick
she's
together.
literally holding her breath
We'll
right
get through
here.
this. And we'll make Buffalo and
She
the
can't
United
breathe.
States a better place to live than it is today.
That was one of his better presentations, I'll say. He didn't stumble and fumble as much as he usually does. He had a little. She's sweating like a hoe in church. He had a little stumble there at the end. Darion, what up, bro? Appreciate you supporting the channel. Toxic, Voxic. Hey, Hotep Nation, what up? What up? What up? What up? Darion, appreciate that, homie. So the thing, before it slips our mind, the thing that alarmed me most was his attack on the internet. He's like, "Oh, these people are getting these things from the internet." It's like, what? Outside of the whole white supremacy, all of that talk, all that foolishness. And then, of course, the gun control aspect, It's just like, if you let fucking black people...
What up, bro?
Yo, Cannon Hotep is live. We live right now on YouTube. What's up, bro? How you feeling, man?
Not much, man. I knew that shit was coming.
You called it.
Man, listen. said on Sunday when I went live. He said they're gonna, and I even put it in the tweet. I said the internet is the wild wild west, and they're going, the redacted gotta bring that shit in. You heard what he said.
Yeah.
We can't allow the internet to do this and that.
Yeah.
And he went straight for the weapons of war rhetoric.
Yeah.
Like, and like I said on my stream, like in New York, they got a really big Supreme Court case that's going on right now. New York Pistol and Rifle Association versus Bruner. And if that goes the way of the 2A, that means that New York has to change their gun laws to a shall issue state, which means that they have to give people their right to concealed carry without any good and substantial reason. Almost like DC versus Heller. So, and if that happens, then a lot of these states would have to rewrite their gun laws to kind of fit that. So, it's kind of interesting that all of this shit happening while they're hearing this case, which is supposed to be ruled on in June. Yeah. Not to mention, because you had Buffalo. You had what happened in at the church, the Taiwanese church in Cali. I think something happened in was it Missouri or something like that, or Wisconsin or something like that just happened the same day or yesterday. We just had something crazy happen here. I guess there's a lot going on right now, and it's all just a big coincidence in my opinion. You know what I mean? Just a big, huge coincidence. Like, go figure, right? So, never let a good crisis go to waste. Ain't that what homeboy said off of Obama's cabinet? What's his name? Forgot your name. He said, never let a good crisis go to waste.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what they're doing right now. You see, they had to rush his ass off to his rejuvenation chamber. He was failing. He was going down. He started stuttering at the end, like you said. Joe was sitting there like, please don't mess up. Please don't mess up. You know what I mean? Whoever was in his ear was doing a great job.
Oh, yeah.
He held it together. Whoever was in that earpiece did a fantastic job. Stick to the script, sir. Stick to the script. You know what I mean? But,
the chat want to know, what case was that again? In New York?
It should be New York Pistol and Rifle Association versus Bruner.
How you spell Bruner?
I think it's Bruner.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going on right now, and they're supposed to rule on it on the 20, not on 20, but they're supposed to rule on it in June. I'm not sure when, but we're coming up on June now, and this stuff just so happened to happen. And we all know, and like I said before, every time some kind of pivotal case for the 2A is on the floor, some crazy shit happens. You know what I mean? Some event happens, some treadstone event happens.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
And it never fails. And like we got midterms coming up. Democrats ain't looking too good right now. Now they need a boogeyman. They need a boogeyman. They need to make the right look like they racist again, and all this other stuff. They're trying to equate it. I heard your boy Lucas saying, I disagree. I kind of agree with Lucas, but then I disagree with him. Like, he's like, Tucker Carlson and these guys that keep talking about trying to eliminate the white man, which I never really heard them say it like that. But I'm like, okay, what about Joy Reid and Don Lemon, where they're saying the white man's the problem? The greatest threat to America is the white man. I'm like, it's on both sides. That rhetoric's on both sides. So, now, me personally, I think that was a treadstone event that happened in Buffalo. You know what I mean? Especially, when the manifesto just conveniently was just there the minute it all happened. The shit looked like a fact page. Like it was just question and answer. It almost looked like a questionnaire you would get from like a psychiatrist. You know what I mean? Like it was like it asked frequently asked questions. And it was like, are you this, are you that? And then the guy would answer it or whatever. It just I don't know, it just stink to me, And I told people before, like, 'cause some people think that, those events, nobody got hurt or whatever. And I'm like, nah, the government ain't beyond not hurting people to get their point across. That's called collateral damage, what they like to call it. But you know what I mean. But it's what happened out there though. It was tragic. Those people, they didn't have to die, man. You know, but it's something don't add up to me with a lot of that stuff. Like, I can look at certain things objectively and go, okay, now that happened. And then you can look at certain things like, okay, we got the lone wolf theory. Okay, oh, here come the manifesto. Okay, oh, here come all of these. If you read it, it was like the ATF and the Nicholas Slick administration wet dream, son. Like, they hit every single talking point that they've been talking about for the last 7 years. You know what I mean? Like he used the AR. He had a shotgun and he had a bolt action rifle. You know, so they say the AR is what he just said on that, a weapon of war. And with Nicholas Slick saying and his little PSA that time, buy yourself a shotgun, right? So the guy had a shotgun. And then what's the other thing? The 2A is only for hunting. So he took a bolt action rifle with him too. That's what I'm like. And to me, it's like that symbolism. Like, they want to get rid of everything. You know. The guy even said in his in the thing he wanted a predominantly black area, a predominantly black place where he could pick people off, and he wanted to be somewhere where he knew that people weren't going to be strapped up. So he picked that area. And like I said in my video yesterday, I was like, gun control is rooted in racism, period. It was made so black people would not have guns after the Civil War, and they continued it on. They make it harder and harder for you to get a gun in these liberal strongholds, in these liberal cities and states. You know, like the stuff that we got to go through here just to get a handgun in Maryland. I think y'all got to go through the same shit in Jersey.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's almost like people just be like, F it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to perform miracles.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the stuff I had to go through just to be able to carry in Maryland is ridiculous.
Yeah. That's
why this case in New York that's going on, it is really important. You know what I mean? And I feel like, I don't know. They're going to use this. They're going to use this to try to push their case back. They're going to use this to try to sway the court. You know what I mean? But, like the guy said, the clip that I played in my video, the guy was like, what would have happened if more than just the security guard was strapped? Would it have been different? Would it have been a different turnout? You know what I mean? He was like, it's not the gun, it's the person with the gun that do the dumb shit. That you got to watch out for. And he's right. The gun is just a tool. You know what I mean?
And the people were strapped to be a little bit different.
Exactly. And he said it in his manifesto. He didn't want to go anywhere where there's going to be some opposition, but he was going to get fired back on.
Right.
He said it. You know what I mean? And like I said, and that's also, I guess it's also gaslighting too, because he basically verbatim almost copy and pasted the New Zealand dude.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Everything that he was basically saying in here it kind of sounded or parroted the guy from New Zealand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was almost a little bit of trolling in there too. And that's what I'm saying, man. They just picked that thing up off the shelf, like, yeah, use this one real quick.
Right.
And they threw that out there to the public. But I mean, what is it, Tuesday? I'm shocked that he ain't did it yesterday. I thought he was gonna come on the air on Sunday, but he gotta take it. They gotta give him his what they call it, They gotta put a lid on it. So he probably in his rejuvenation chamber because too much brain power was being used at the time. But I knew that was coming. I knew it was coming. I just didn't know when it was coming. They're all gonna do it. You want to see Eric Adams say it again, because when you had the subway shooter, Eric Adams, what he called them guns? He called them weapons of mass destruction. That's what he kept calling it. Weapons of mass destruction. They're gonna come for it. And that also, they were at that time they've been hearing this case for a minute. But it was also happening at that time. But nothing hit harder than a white man with an AR. Nothing hit harder than a white man with an AR. For a minute, I thought they were just gonna start using black on black crime as their rhetoric. But it wasn't hitting hard enough because they didn't desensitize everybody to it. But everybody get up in arms when a white man do it.
Yeah.
So, and then he had they had the stuff written all over his AR, which I don't even know where that came from, because I don't even think that shit was in the manifesto. Next thing you know, we got pictures of writing. I was like, where the hell that come from? You know, it's just a lot, man. But they're coming for your liberties, everybody. They're coming for your guns. They're coming for your privacy. They're going to start trying to regulate the internet more. You see that the Elon Musk Twitter shit might fall through because of some shit they done found out about. I forgot what it was, but I'm like, that's some bullshit. And I remember back in the day when when it just jumped off, every politician in America or in the world was on it. And I remember at one point, I thought they said that it was backed by the government. And we all know it still is. So they can't let that deal go through. They can't let that deal go through at all. So, you know, they're gonna find some trumped up charges to get Musk out the paint and get him off the deal so they can keep it. They gotta regulate it. They can't allow the Wild Wild West to keep going because they can't control it. You know, because we can sit here, sit here and Google or DuckDuckGo or whatever we use to find out if something's true or not. You know what I mean? They can't control that. They can't control our voices either. You know what I mean? So they got their Ministry of Truth coming out. You know, that's already here. And like I told people, they think that it's a non-issue. I'm like, it's the Ministry of Truth is Homeland Security, and them people got guns. You know what I mean? So that means the Ministry of Truth has got a law enforcement arm. So they don't like what you're saying, they coming to get you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But like I said, I knew that shit was coming. I seen it coming. The minute I saw it on my feed, I was like, oh, shit, they coming for the guns again. Get ready for more stuff. On top of that, the ATF next month is they get ready to ban pistol braces. They get ready to ban pistol braces. So so they get ready to ban those. They're going to be coming after FFLs for that.
What about you talking about shit like the MCK?
No. So that could be a thing. Well, no, because MCK isn't a gun. MCK is just a chassis. It's just a piece of plastic until you put your gun that you already registered into it. I don't think that's going to be a problem. It's like the AR pistols. So it's the ARs that's like 16 inches in barrel length. So the way that you can make that gun and not have to put it on an NFA registry is you don't put a stock on it, you put a pistol brace on it. And that was ruled on by the ATF saying that was okay. As long as you don't intentionally shoulder it. You know, and those guns don't have any real recoil, you can rest it on your cheek and go to work. But you know, now they don't like it because it looks like a stock and all this other stuff. But it's really made for people who, you know, supposedly handicapped or they need a good, you know, stability. They can wrap this brace around their arm, they can hold the gun steady and shoot. But also the ATF said that as long as you use a pistol brace with your pistol configuration or your short barrel AR, it's not in violation. And this has been the law for a minute, especially ever since I've been building and owning them. You know, they had an understanding with SD Tactical, which is one of the major pistol brace makers, where even SD Tactical put on all of their boxes. This is in compliance with the ATF per ATF. Now they're coming after it. You know, that's why you see Nickel Slick changing, you know, the leader of the ATF, because he need his people in there. And the guy that they got in there now went to school with Obama. He went to college with Obama. He served in Obama's cabinet, and when Obama got out of office, he left. And now Joe bringing him back to push all the gun control. You know, it ain't bills; they're executive orders, which they won't fly because when they go to court, because they will get sued on it, which they have started to be getting sued by the NRA and certain other organizations. They won't fly because they're unconstitutional, and you can't make rules on that amendment through executive order. But you know how they do, yo. They'll sit there, they'll put that law, that executive order in place. They'll force people to comply with it, and then by the time all of that shit happened in court, enough people are already complied with that rule. You know what I mean? And then it's like, okay, well, we still got, you know, they still accomplished something. You know what I mean? But I'm telling y'all, keep a lookout because more of this shit coming down the pipe. These shortages are going to get worse. We got a chicken shortage because of the bird flu. I don't know what bird flu this one is. You know, baby formula. Texas having power outages because like 6 plants went down. You know what I mean? Here come that great reset. And like I said, in order to have a reset, what you gotta do? You gotta crash the system. You gotta crash the system. So be prepared, people.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Canon Hotep. This is why you want to go subscribe to his channel, Canon Hotep. You'll see it on my channel. You'll be able to get there. I think under partners or something like that. Somewhere, if you just scroll to the bottom of my channel, I have all my homies' channels there. You just type in Canon Hotep on YouTube. Cassius Cammy said he sure wrote a polite manifesto, no slurs at all.
Not one N-word. Not one N-word was mentioned.
Jay Pylon says, shout out to Kenny. You called it on the neck grab and vest band, Hotep. See? And you wonder why we call the show Hotep's Been Told You, because Cannon been told you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kay said both political sides use race baiting to bring their followings together. Divide and conquer, using selected government statistics for gain. Cannon, yo, thanks for calling in. Appreciate you, bro.
No problem. Hotep and build.
Hotep and build. I think that's a good place to end it, man. I really don't have much to add. I'm gonna go grab the baby and take her outside. That seems like a good, reason for me to a good use of my time. I did have one thing to say though. Something Cannon said. Said look up Abbott and Wick if you want to know about the baby food shortages. I know about the case. That case is very important. You guys should go check out that case that he was talking about. The gun club versus Bruner or something like that. Yeah, go check that out. It seems pertinent and important as well. But that's that to me sounded like the most clear motive. Like if I had to put my tinfoil kufi on, and that's the take I'm going with. Because that seems very, very plausible. Anyway, love y'all, man. Hotep and Bill. I'll see y'all at HotepCon this year, August 13th. Ticket sales coming soon. Look out for that.